Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. So today I have the Cold Steel Ranger Boss. Now this was sent in by a supporter of the channel, so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Pete. Now Pete also has his own YouTube channel and he has a lot of good knife content. If you guys want to go check out his channel, I'll leave a link to his channel down below. And I'm sure he'd be more than happy for you guys to check out his channel and subscribe. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So we'll throw the specs up on screen. And we have a clip point style blade made of 4034 stainless steel. And it has that beautiful cold steel stonewash finish on it. You have dual thumb studs. The blade is riding on bronze washers. You have GRN handles with a nice stippling texture on it. So pretty aggressive and grippy in hand. Of course you have the famous triad locking system. So really solid lockup. And then you have some deep grooves here for the jimping so you can get some traction for your thumb. And it's got a reversible non-deep carry pocket clip, although I think it's provided in the box for the left-hand carry. Now one thing I really like about this knife is that it's really thin. And it fits in the pocket very well, and it's really light and surprisingly comfortable in hand. So you have a pretty neutral spot for your hands or your palm, and then it just fits really good in hand. So really no complaints on the ergos, and very pocketable. Really nothing bad to say about this knife. Now since these are GRN handles, there is a little bit of give, but it's not terrible. And again, it keeps the weight down. With that being said, the changes I'm going to be doing to this knife are I'm going to be putting a rock pattern texture on these GRN handles. And then for the lock bar and the spine of the knife, I'm going to be doing the rock pattern texture just to have a little bit of flow with the scales. So let's take this thing apart and see what we got going on the inside. Alright, so here it is all taken apart, and one thing I do like about these liners is that the D-shaped hole is in the liners, which is a huge plus in my book, because typically cold steel will make the D-shaped hole in the actual scales themselves, so this is nice to see that. And if I was to create new scales for this, it would definitely be a huge help. But anyways, that's beside the point. Let's get to customizing it. Alright, so here it is all customized. Now we'll start off with the scales. Now these Grivix material scales were a little difficult to work with since every little groove that I create kind of builds a little buildup of material, and then I got to break it off just so that I can see for the next groove to create for this rock pattern texture. But it is finished and it came out really good. And one thing I didn't put in the video was at the end of just lightly hitting it with 1000 grit sandpaper, I put some tung oil just to darken and fill in those little gray areas, since it's kind of what happens when you work with these plastic materials. But the beautiful thing about tung oil is it darkens it back up and it just makes it look really good and finished. So there's that for the scales. And then I also did the Grivix back spacer. So that wasn't the original plan, but I just felt that it needed it, so I did it to the backspacer as well. Came out really well. Same thing, tongue oil after I finished it. And then the other thing I added the rock pattern texture to was the lock bar here. So you guys can see, just always turns out a really cool texture, and the way it shifts in the light is awesome. And it also adds texture, or just a different style of jimping. And then for the final piece here, I did the spine of the blade. So again, just has a nice flow all the way down the spine of the blade, backspacer, and then lock bar. So just looks really complete. So there's that. And then I was looking at the pocket clip. I wanted to do something on the pocket clip itself. I was going to do it originally on top of the pocket clip, but I just wanted it to match the spine of pretty much everything that's going down the center of the knife. So I just did the edges of the pocket clip. So again, it's a little subtle touch, but that is pretty much it. Kind of give it a complete look. So that is all the work. So let's throw it together and see what it looks like. Alright, so here it is all put together, and I think it came out really well. Again, not a great big fan of the Grivex, but it does, if you take your time, it does come out pretty well. So the rock pattern texture is really nice on the scales, and then the spine or the lock bar and the backspacer just has a nice finish with that rock pattern texture. And you can see just that subtle touch on the pocket clip. I think it gives it that little extra something. And then of course the spine of the blade. So yeah, it just has a very continuous look and texturing. So that's always nice in my book, just to have a nice flow. But there it is. We'll see how the action is. Super smooth. I mean, super solid lockup with that triad lock. And again, just love the ergos on this knife because it's so thin. But the fact that it's a little on the wider side does make it very comfortable in my hand. So just more grip now, a little bit more texture or jimping in a sense on top of the blade when you're putting down pressure. And yeah, just really nice. Definitely going to be picking one of these up for myself. I think it's a great knife, and yeah, very affordable. I think these are 40 bucks. I'll leave a link down below if I can find a link for you guys, and you guys can get one yourselves if you're needing something lightweight and just really strong and durable. The drop shot is smooth, so that's always nice with these triad lock on the cold steels. And that's pretty much it. Let me know down below what you guys think. I always appreciate you guys' input. And yeah, thank you again. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. you.